there is some big news that I have to get out to you. Listen up, folks. This is straight from KMOV.com. It's a local news for St. Louis. 2 military trainees try to abduct a 12-year-old girl in Pulaski County. The report actually kind of let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. So we've got these 2 guys who tried to abduct this 12-year-old girl. These 2 men are training at Fort Leonard Wood. They are in custody now, of course. Who are they? Well, Mahmoud Omar Mefi. Okay, is that even English? No. Mohammed Mahmoud Omar Mefi, 34 years old, and Antoine Clela, C-L-E-L-A, 31. They are charged with enticement of a child and harassment. What happened to attempted kidnapping? So, here's the story. The 12-year-old was playing with her sibling in her own yard when these 2 guys come up several times, not just once, several times. Once is bad enough, right? And they tried to lure her into the vehicle. They were also asking for sexual favors. Here's where the cat gets out of the bag. These 2 guys are with a foreign military in a Middle Eastern country. Do you understand this? They're training at Fort Leonard Wood. They are not Americans. They are not in any of our military. Not the Army, Marines, Navy, Coast Guard, none of it. They are foreign military personnel from a Middle Eastern country and are part of a training mission at Fort Leonard Wood. Unbelievable, right? So not only are they friggin' getting trained by armed people, but they're asking for sexual favors from 12-year-olds. They're perverts. Sheriff Ron Long says there is no diplomatic immunity. They are guests. And if they were diplomats, it would be different. Piss me off! How many diplomats do you think are actually getting away with this crap? But they're here on a training mission, so we treat them like any other citizen charged with a crime. Military officials are not yet commenting on this case, although Sheriff Long said they are cooperating with the investigation. Deputies who responded to the scene located the suspects. They were arrested and remain at the Pulaski County Jail on a $200,000 bond. When you post a bond, you don't pay the full fucking amount! So what? They need $20,000? I'm sure that their military could post that for them. Or better yet, since they're training here, I bet Fort Leonard Wood could just pop that bond right up for them. I am so ticked about this. So, it's not bad enough that we've got our own folks in the military fighting for freedom in the name of American rights. But we have Mohammed Mahmoud Omar Mefi and Antoine Clela friggin' training here. That's just 2 guys that are training there. How many more Middle Eastern country military men do we have in this country being trained by our own people. That's treason. Giving aid and comfort to the enemy is treason. It's defined exactly that way in the Constitution. The one you are to uphold and defend.
Going back.
News 4 is following a developing story that would make any parent cringe.
A pair of soldiers who are being trained at Fort Leonard Wood accused of approaching a child for sex. We've been digging to find out more about this case since we first brought you the details at 5. Matt Cesney's live in Waynesville. Matt, what have you learned in just the past few hours?
Sharon, we are talking about 2 visiting foreign soldiers from a Middle Eastern country. They are behind bars tonight here at the Pulaski County Jail, charged with enticing a child and harassment. The sheriff here tells us he has been in touch with the U.S. State Department and U.S. military officials, but he will not tell us the exact country that these men are from. He will only tell us that they are in isolation here at the jail for their own safety, largely because of who they are and the crime they're accused of committing. 34-year-old Mohammed Meflik and 31-year-old Antoine Chila apparently don't speak English, but they may have known enough English, authorities believe, to scare a 12-year-old girl in front of her own home.
According to her, what they did is they drove by her several times trying to solicit her to come into their vehicle. They tried to get her in and attempted to take her away.
Sexual favors they were asking for?
Illicit favors, yes, sir.
A 12-year-old girl?
12 years old, yes.
It happened Friday, the sheriff says, along Route Z, just outside of St. Roberts, and just a couple of miles from Fort Leonard Wood, where the 2 men were undergoing military training with Army officials.
There is no diplomatic immunity for these people. They are here as guests, and if they were diplomats or ambassadors or whatever, it would be different. But they're not here as that. They're here as visitors. They're here on a training mission. So therefore, we treat them just like any other citizen that would be arrested and charged with the crime.
They're prisoners now.
They are inmates, yes.
The sheriff here in Pulaski County tells us that there is a large number of soldiers from that same country that these 2 men are from as well. Military officials at Fort Leonard Wood are not commenting tonight, but the sheriff says the military is cooperating with him. The 2 are being held on $200,000 bond, and it is possible, the sheriff admits, that those soldiers' home country could put up that money, and they may never see this pair again. We'll keep following this story. We're live in Waynesville, Missouri. Matt Cesney, News 4.